The WordPress CEO Matt has responded and people hate his response. It seems like he's getting into more and more trouble day by day. So let's take a look at it, what actually happened. If you have been living under the WordPress rock, what we are referring to is the drama between Matt because of what he said on WordCamp US when he compared WP Engine to a cancer, accusing them of stealing their trademark, misusing it, not contributing enough to the open sourceness of WordPress, and actually confusing customers. While delivering lower performance, he basically called for people to stop using them and switch to different provider. This will obviously have a direct financial implication for this company, which is owned, funnily enough, by private equity Silver Lake, which is worth over $110 billion. So a lot of people would lose a lot of money, which is not good. We covered all the situation in this video, and what happened after it was that WP Engine sent a cease-and-desist letter to Automattic, basically saying that they were lying, sharing some images, some photos of their communication, saying that Matt was blackmailing them for tens of millions of dollars. Now we know, based on his response, it's supposed to be around $30 million a year. And you can go and see the full breakdown of the cease and desist in this video. But how do we get to 30 million and what's actually going on? Matt seems not to be disapproving of WP Engine actually making money. This is the whole idea about open source system and using it, and he thinks that they are allowed to do it. This was more of a moral issue, that they are not contributing enough, but they do not have any legal case for this. So they obviously, Matt needs to go and say it publicly that this is okay, which is because this is the whole point of having open source platform like this. People can go and use it however they want, even if it is for profit. Where, according to him, is the whole problem is using the WP Engine part, to be exact, the WP part, which seems to be a trademark violation based on what Matt thinks. They've actually changed some stuff into their trademark legislation on their website as well after it was done. Many people online started to comparing to, imagine you're gonna go and build a road where you can go and drive as fast as you want. But if somebody drives really fast through it, you're gonna go and put up a sign that you can go only 100 miles an hour, and that person exceeded it, so he needs to be punished because you did it afterward. So this is how people view this situation, and to be honest, WP is not a very strong legal case. We see also a plethora of websites using this without being in any problem. So if you look at what people are actually searching for, this is in all countries, in all languages. We can see WordPress is getting the most amount of monthly searches. And if you look at stuff like WP, it is still getting a lot of searches. But if we actually search for it, it is also being covered by stuff like WhatsApp, which definitely doesn't belong in here. And you can see it also based on how much people are bidding on it, that it is not as a key term. But if you look at stuff like WordPress hosting, we can see it's getting around 10 to 100,000 searches. But WP hosting doesn't seem to be getting that much searches. So we can confidently say that people are not actually using this trademark to search for it, which doesn't mean that people cannot be confused. Because yes, it is true that WP Engine in past used to name one of their core services WordPress Core, which would go and imply to some complete newbies that this is actually associated directly to WordPress.org, which is not the case at all. But they've since removed it and continued only using WP part for their naming. But in the cease and desist letter, we have seen that they have actually disapproved this, and it seems to be completely legal case that they can go and use it. A lot of people online think that actually WP Engine should and even must win this case, because this is about the setting up the precedents, and we cannot go and change the rules after it was actually played, which seems to be the case at this point. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, how is he demanding $30 million? Where did it came up from? Well, he's actually suggesting that they should go and share 8% of their revenue, which is around $450 million, with WordPress.org. And this was suggested by 4% being done by cash and 4% in contributions in, for example, hours, or paying other people to do it for them. and they can calculate it however they want. So they can go full 8% revenue in cash and 0% in contribution, or they can do it 4-4, or they can do it 7 and 1%, however they want. But WP Engine seems to think that this is not fair enough. They're already contributing 40 hours a week to this project, which is around one full-time employee committed only to this. And we look at the hours that are being pledged, there are also way bigger companies contributed to this. So the main question that Matt needs to answer right now is, why did he choose to do it right now, and why specifically WP Engine? In his actual speak, what he said is that only company that has problem with this is WP Engine. He's good with every other web hosting provider, but only problem is WP Engine. And he actually also specified that some companies like Newfold Digital, which own stuff like Bluehost and a lot more, they are actually paying some licensing fee to use WordPress not only regularly, but also in their advertising and another platforms as well. And he basically wants WP Engine to do the same. The biggest problem with Matt is that he haven't gotten us a single piece of evidence yet that it is not just all of the sudden this big potential money grab to just come and get money from WP Engine. On this call, when he was specifically asked to give us some resources, some screenshots, something that would go and prove that it was actually being talked with them for a long time, he couldn't do it specifically. I don't think this is the moral reason, like you don't want to go and share conversations, because WP Engine in their cease-and-desist letter, they've done it without any problem. They just put up the screenshots in there. Here, this is the reality from their point of view. And now Matt haven't provided us with anything. When asked for this, he went through his calendar and he started saying the dates when they have been having meeting with the CEO of WP Engine dating back to 2018. But we obviously cannot go and prove or disapprove what was it about, so this is still in a limbo. And apparently the latest meeting they had was around 26th of January 2024, which is pretty far back. And he was actually speaking on some of them events even in 2023, which people find very, very weird that this wasn't a problem back then. And now people are actually demanding and starting to make petition to make Matt step down from his board role inside this charity that owns WordPress.org, and they think that it should be run by community itself. Now, I would actually say, and a lot of people seem to agree, that this is quite unrealistic as well, but people are legitimately still asking if Matt should continue with this role, because it seems to be a big conflict of interest being the member board of this foundation that owns WordPress.org, and also CEO of Automattic that is behind WordPress.com, its commercial rival in there. There have been also a lot of talks, but people who are really being heard the most are probably WP Engine customers, because they really don't know what is going on right now, who to believe, and they are starting to have problem with their regular website. There can be some security vulnerabilities, accesses being denied, and everything. They cannot go and update their plugins and all the other stuff. It's a big disruption on their part as well. And really, some people who have their whole businesses maybe based on their websites, generating most of their income, most of the customers to their real life businesses as well, gonna be affected the most. They have nothing to do with it at all. And those two big sites need to go and just resolve their problems. If you want to go and see update how this is all progressing and what is actually happening, you definitely want to subscribe. I will make a finalizing video about what happened and what is the future of WP Engine and WordPress.org. This is everything from me. Have a nice day and goodbye.